traders, today we're going to go over something called the BRC pattern, break, retest, continuation. So this is just one of many patterns we trade at Digital Investing School, but it's a very simple, easy pattern to identify. So first thing you got to do is look for the overall trend of the pair you're looking at. So, in this case, this is we're actually back in, I think, 2016 timeframe, but just isolate a certain area. We can easily see that this is like an uptrend here. Then we have downtrend here, right? And then we have another uptrend. So price is obviously going and creating these micro trends within larger trends, and obviously that's something we cover in our curriculum. The most important trend is obviously the primary trend. So we want to go like a daily chart and kind of identify where we're at based on that price action. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and focus in on, let's just focus in on this scenario right here, where we can actually see that this is a downtrend, and now we're going to look for that pattern, the BRC pattern within this this scenario of the downtrend. So let's actually go ahead and look for that location here on the chart. We got to go back. Sorry. All right, here we go. So let's look at what we're talking about here. So the break, retest, and then continuation. Okay, so BRC. So first thing you need to do is plot a support level, resistance level. So we have our high here. We have a nice support level here. First thing we begin to start seeing is how price held at the support. We see prices run up and rejected off resistance. Price then comes down, holds, and then eventually breaks support. As you can see, we have a break, and what do we have? A retest of the same area. So price is actually moving into this liquidity zone right here. So understand that when we say retest, it's not a retest of a line or support resistance. It's a retest of an area, a zone, if you will, of liquidity. So in this scenario, we can actually see price moved right into this whole area. If you look at this confluence, that just tells you that there's a lot of liquidity here, a lot of orders that were paired. And so what happens? Once we saw that break of support, we got that retest. From there, we see our continuation all the way down. Same thing happens over here. So we can then see price find support, short-term support. What begins to happen? If we get a nice breakdown, right? We see the break of support. We get a retest into where? Right into this area of liquidity. And then what begins to happen? We see continuation down. Same thing occurs here. We see another break. So we have this become support. Price comes up, breaks it. What do we have? A nice retest, and then what happens? Continuation down. So we see this happening again and again and again and again. Here we go. New support, price breaks, retest, continuation down. So why is this important? Because if you begin to start understanding what we call order flow, you'll begin to start looking for the setups in line with the trend and create high probability outcomes. So here's another example. We see price moving in this corrective structure here, and obviously if you don't know what that is, that's because you haven't taken our course on the price action mastery, but this is a corrective pattern. Now look at what happens. Price explodes out of this area. So we break resistance, we break all these levels, all this liquidity, and then what begins to happen? We find that retest, we find that pullback. And what happens? Price holds, and what begins to occur next? Moves out, continuation. See how that works? We can even see it on a smaller scenario here. So we have a little uptrend here, okay, or a little minor uptrend. It's really not an uptrend. So again, it's a corrective structure, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll just say that this is higher highs, higher lows. And what happens? We see price break. And then what begins to happen? We see a retest. Price actually moves up. You can see the candles move to this level here, but it wicks to this candle here. And what happens? Continuation down. Same thing occurs. Let's actually go ahead and use this this little indicator right here. We see price here holds. We have resistance. Price breaks. Even on a smaller scale, price breaks, retest, continuation. See how that works? Same thing again. So look at what takes place. Support. We see break, retest, continuation. Another support, right? Break, retest, continuation. So if you understand the concept of break, retest, confirmation, you'll not only be able to start identifying setups, but you'll also enter your trades at the right time. The big mistake a lot of people make is they enter when price is actually breaking a level And the issue with that is you don't want to end up buying high or selling low, right? You want to get in at the best price. So you want to wait for that retest. And partially because sometimes price will fake you out. So as an example, if you see how this level here broke, so we see price broke, and then it comes up to kind of retest, but then eventually does what? It actually continues to go all the way up. So you've got to wait for that retest and confirmation in order to make sure that you're going to be on the right side of the trade. Now, is this going to work 100% of the time? Of course not. No pattern works 100% of the time. There's always going to be a percentage of loss, right? And so the name of the game is, as long as you are managing your risk correctly, your risk to reward, you have positive risk to reward ratios, even if you lose 2, 3, 4, 5 times out of 10, if your risk to reward is good and positive, at least 2 to 1 or more, then you're gonna be able to be profitable consistently. So practice that, identify the BRC pattern, very, very lucrative, very simple to identify. Obviously, you're just gonna have to maybe test it out on the demo account or whatever, but once you get the hang of it, you start building the confidence, you start training your eye, you'll be able to see it happening time and time and time again. See, we have another one right over here. We see price is actually broken the level. We see a retest. And then from there, in fact, this is the level it actually breaks right here. It breaks, see this here? So that's our support, breaks, holds, and then boom, continues all the way down. Same thing happens over here. One more time, just make sure you guys got it. Breaks, retest, continuation pattern, right? And then on a larger scale, it's also happening. We actually cover this in Price Action Mastery when we started discussing the order flow of institutional order flow as well as anatomy of a swing. So we hope this helps you. Apply this right away because this can help you start generating pips on top of pips on top of pips. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.